Hello and welcome to the channel. And for today's video, we are back at Image Comics, particularly Top Cow Studios, and we are looking at Weapon Zero, issue T-4, which I believe is the first issue. A lot of creative stuff going on in comics around this time. The introduction of zero issues and half issues and all of that. So I believe I believe this is the first time I ever saw something labeled as issue T minus or minus issues, right? It's pretty much in the countdown, right? The issues are being counted down. So very clever. Image's hottest new star-spanning saga begins here. So yeah, the I mean, I'm gonna be straight up. This is not an issue I hate. As far as artwork goes, the only reason it is being featured in the black bag comic, because as I have mentioned a few times over the course of the videos, not because they're in the black bag of my pile of comics, it means that they're bad issues. It's just that I don't have any room to fit in my main long boxes, so some sacrifices have to be made. Yeah, the artist on this is Joe Benitez, along with doing the inks. I believe his name Pat Banning. Um, I don't know who the writer is on this. I will check out in just a second when we look at the credits. But yeah, Joe Benitez. I believe this is like his first solo main title given to him. He probably did some fill-in stuff for Top Cow's other titles, Cyber Force and Strike Force and whatever force other than cyber stuff that Silvestri had. Um, yeah, this is pretty much Joe Benitez, first being in charge of a title of his own, right? So here we have Walter Simonson, credited as plot and script, Joe Benitez, plot and pencils, and inks and embellisher Bat with Nathan Cabrera colors. A whole lot of computer colorers, Dennis Heisler letters, David Wall editor, and blah, 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 blah. A lot of people in the editorial staff. So it's been like most of these books featured in this series, a long time since I read them, so don't remember a lot of what's going on in the stories. But we're here to look at the artwork mainly. If I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these videos that we're doing is just look at the artwork. So here we have right off the bat a large splash page. So first off, this came out in June of 1995. You can't see it. This came out in June 95. So this is like the second, I don't know if second or third wave of Image. The first wave meaning, Spawn, Wildcats, Cyberforce, I'm blanking out. Whatever Liefeld put out, Youngblood. There we go. That's like the first wave, and then the second wave was like Pit, the Max, Darker Image, but Death Blow and all of that. So those are like the second wave, and this is around the third wave of new releases by Top Cow, when they started putting out things like Witchblade and Darkness and all of that. I think those came out after this, or around the same time. I don't remember. But here we have a pretty cool shot of some guy, uh, very colonial looking armor. His starship is under attack. Yeah, the thing that I love about Joe Benitez artwork is like he did like the perfect mishmash of like the McFarlane cartoony style, but with the flair and style of like, well, that, Top Cow, right? Top Cow, Homage Studios, Wildstorm, they all branched out from one another. Well, I mean, Wildstorm, Homage became Wildstorm, and but Silvestri was part of Homage, and then he split and made Top Cow. So the house style still remained there. Um, but eventually the styles did find some separation. But I believe Top Cow pretty much stayed the course with that look. When you think of like the comics, the from the late '80s, the X-Men comics, right? Silvestri was there, Portasio was there, Jim Lee was there. Um, they were like the three main guys carrying the X titles around that time. And when you think of the homage style, that's it, right? So later on, Wildstorm would branch out a little more diverse styles, but Top Cow, I believe, kept that mission statement, so to speak, in that with that look. So Benitez, in my opinion, you can tell his artwork is a little more cartoony influenced, which is why I bring up McFarlane, because McFarlane's style is a little more cartoony-ish, right? It's not so when you compare McFarlane and Jim Lee or Silvestri, Silvestri and Jim Lee tend to be a little more realistic, and McFarlane is on the more cartoony side. So this is what Benitez reminds me of, but the influence of the Top Cow style, right, meshed well with the McFarlane style, and you can see the layout. This is a two. Believe it or not, this is a two-page spread, right? Obviously, you're looking at this image down the middle that's shared on both pages. But if you could, go like this, you can still call it separate pages, right? Because they read in this order and then in this order. It's not like this, right? But that's the cleverness of a lot of the image style back in the day. They got really creative with page layouts, right? And this is a good example of being, trying out some stuff, more graphic. And part of the elements that McFarlane introduced in his work early on, if you've read some of McFarlane's interviews and how he's, if you have, what's it called, The Devil's Due? It's like a retrospective of his career. It's a book, but he also did a video on it. And he speaks about how he tried to implement like graphic design elements in his artwork when he was still learning to be a comic book artist. So some of the cheats he started to implement are little graphical things like these right here. These lines don't do anything except just add filler to empty space, right? Or you would get fancy with the panel borders, right? So a lot of this stuff is it's a lot of this stuff you see now and you pretty much take for granted, but you can all trace it back to a lot of these guys at Image. So yeah, here we have some and then a lot of the things that the image guys were criticized. Is they're just all static images, so to speak, right? Every panel is a splash page, and there's not a lot of storytelling going on. But you know, all of these artists, they grow over time. Certain exceptions, but for the most part, every one of the artists, they grew into becoming competent storytellers. I clearly remember when Jim Lee took like a step forward in his storytelling. It wasn't just hyper images all the time. He managed to do things like this. Where story, keep the pace down on the pages and all of that. So a lot of these artists then that came up in the later waves, in the different as image grew, the artists themselves, the what would you would call the mentors, right? They were all growing and feeding off each other. And there goes my dog again. So the here we have some dinosaurs. So this is intriguing. So everything that was being told here looked very futuristic, but it turns out, we're in 4 billion years or so in the past, when the dinosaurs were still roaming Earth. Apparently, that's what caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. So we have a cool shot from the moon overlooking Earth, and someone standing on the moon. It turns out we are now in modern times, and man has stepped on the moon, so we now pretty much set the time frame for this issue, right? We're in the somewhat recent times, but we're still like in the 60s. So here's what I say about the cartoony McFarlane-esque style. This is something that's very McFarlane-esque to me. And then clearly, this is if you tell me this doesn't remind you of 2001 Space Odyssey. When when they're digging and they find the monolith. And then here's a killer shot. Everything's the attention, I can't talk. So traumatized and in awe of the artwork. The attention to detail. You can see the create. Well, I mean, yeah, it's creativity in the in the costumes, right? All of these little like gears and pistons and plating and all of this stuff. You're seeing artists really push themselves more and more. He could have easily just done something simple like this always, but no, he Benitez the designs for these characters, they're pushing the envelope on the art all the time, right? So a lot of this stuff, this shot right here, this is a cool shot, so the perspective on it is excellent. And again, so silhouettes, when you draw something in silhouettes, it's not always, I say it, for dramatic effect, and sometimes for shortcutting your way to a page. And when you're dealing with a costume that's detailed like this, a nice way to get over that, is having to draw it again, is just put it in silhouette. And in this case, it works again because the characters, they all have spotlights on them, on their helmets. So clearly, when something is backlit, the other side is gonna be dark. So this guy is lighting this guy, so his front is gonna be in the dark. This guy is backlighting this guy, so it makes sense. And it makes sense to put the figure closest to you in the foreground, with the light reflecting off of the helmet, of the visor. Right, give me 1 second. All right, and we're back. My dog always goes crazy when the Uber guys drive by their delivery bikes. She drives them crazy. And where was I? I forget what I was trying to explain in my previous. Oh, the silhouettes. Yeah. So I was explaining. Yeah. So this. It makes sense for him to put this guy in the foreground, being lit, his face being seen. So yeah, everything about this, there's nothing. Everything looks good. Well, the perspective on this might be a little wonky. I mean, not wonky. I mean, it's drawn well, but it's drawn well, but at the same time, it looks like simple beginner's 3-point perspective. Same like this. And here we have another cool sequence going on here, and you'll notice that Benitez is doing an excellent job of packing in a lot of panels in each page. He's not going for like 3 or 4 panels per page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. Previous one, just large. There it goes again. So even though this is a double page spread, you can count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's putting in the work. He's not. Even though he is credited as plotter as well, he's not cheating his way through a page. He could have simply just done things more simple for himself, right? But no, he is. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't know if challenging himself is the right word, but he is going for it. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. He's not afraid to put down the ideas that he has. He's not afraid to put them down on a page. And then here we see the some astronaut getting pretty much impaled from behind from this freaky alien purple thingy. All right, so he's dead. And then this is like your typical, when you think of the image 90s style, this is it, right? This is like an encapsulation of it. Big right in your face images, some fancy panel, right? And then the huge figure in the foreground. This is basically works as a panel. If you were to grid it out, this is it, right? But instead, it's an open panel of just the figure, and then the overlaid panels behind it, right? So, and then this sequence is pretty cool right here. There's our old friend, the strokey panel border, and this the jaggedy panel as well. We've seen this a few times already. And then look at this page right here. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels, right? So the guys, and in order to get everything fit, you know, he did some really clever angular panels here at the top to fit 4 panels in a sequence. And then a little small one here at the bottom. But Benitez is showing off pretty much. Oh, where's that? And then you know, we've got this sequence over here. The guy gets infected by whatever the alien thing left behind, so he becomes into a purple guy. Another like McFarlane-esque face here. This is very McFarlane-esque for sure. These drawings. This page, this entire page, mostly reminds me of like something McFarlane would do. And then turns out the chick freaks into something, transforms into something, and attacks the guy. And what the hell is going on here? I don't know. This is cool. Everything, cool. Everything is a cool shot. Then you see the girl's tattered clothing conveniently covering up specific bits of anatomy. Conveniently. See what I mean? Well, I mean, she's got undies, but conveniently covering up. But yeah, here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, the guy is not cheating anything. You know, although these are pretty simple. You know, lots of minimal backgrounds. You have this shot here. Which is very minimalistic. You know, you can tell it's just a basic bedroom, right? You have like a closet here. I don't know what this is. Another closet. Some stuff hanging from the wall, and the bed, and all of that. But you know, it's just simple. You know, a simple perspective shot. You know. And here she comes out walking out in some funky armor. There's that panel border again. And here we see what's going on in the moon. Highly detailed costume here. Even though it's not covering up his whole body, there's a lot of work put into the you know, that armor on this guy. And that was it. So that's how the issue ends, apparently. So we have, see, here's what I mean. So Weapon 0 T-3, the second issue. So this was the first issue, T-4. And some cool ads here. A resin statue, Rip Claw Special. Killraiser Special. Ballistic Studios. I'm trying to remember who those guys were. And she Cyblade. That's like one of the classic crossovers from the 90s. William Tucci's She and Cyblade. They're like many people like made the comparison. She's mostly more of a Psylocke, right? Well, because they were both like ninjas and all of that, they found the correlation to one another. And here we have the back. So this is an entire double page spread right here. So there you have it. Weapon Zero by Joe Benitez and was it Walter Simonson? Yeah. Again, the artwork is pretty awesome on this. We didn't really meet this character. I'm pretty sure this is the chick that we saw near the end. I don't know if we met this guy. I believe that was this guy over here. The guy that there was a sequence that I said that looked like very McFarlane-esque. This guy. I don't know if it's this guy. It doesn't look like him. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I believe I only got to maybe second issue. I don't know if I don't know if I have it or not somewhere. I didn't really finish the story, all of the story. I believe Weapon Zero got like a second volume fairly recently, like in the last 5-10 years or so. I mean, the characters didn't really. After this miniseries, I believe a regular series was launched, but then it didn't last too long, and then recently relaunched, I believe. But yeah, it's this is like your typical. This is what when you think of like an Image comic, this is pretty much, there you go. Give him this, right? And oh, okay, now I understand. But yeah, everything is awesome visually. Well paced by Benitez artwork, and excellently drawn as well. For more of Joe Benitez's work, his self-titled books, the Lady Mechanica. I only have like one issue of that, and you can really see an evolution of his work if you compare this to that. A lot of similarities still, but definitely his artwork has improved, over the course of what was this, 95? So yeah, this is 95. Holy crap, this is 25 years old. Doesn't look that old. I mean, the technology that Image implemented for their comics at this time is pretty much the standard now. There's like glossy paper, computer coloring and all of that. If I gave you this right today, you would say, oh, when did this come out? Last week? No, this came out 25 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, and all of that. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one later.